What's going on, guys, and welcome back to RTV. It's been a while that I got to be in and out of this, but hopefully everything's now going to start being more smooth. You're going to see a better schedule. We got a lot of great topics coming up that I'm just very excited for, that I've been working on in the background, and also my side series that's been doing really good, Beyond the Break with Cocolazo. That's my little nickname that everybody calls me in the hobby world, but it flows so well. But I got some cool things coming up on there that if you are a person who likes to collect or just love sports in general, you need to go make sure you check those out as well. But I know I got to kick it off and see how have y'all been doing.
Been busy. You came in, you saw that deck's almost gone.
The deck is almost gone. It looked good.
Getting finished with that, and then start to build something else.
Yes, it seems like it always tear something down, build something up.
Yeah, tear something down, build something up. Yeah, that's right.
And how are you?
I'm good.
Good. I would say on my way here was a little bit of a challenging time because traffic was just horrible. I mean, I think I caught every single red light known to man, and then there was construction, and then there was a wreck, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. It's in your hands, Lord.
I'm going to buy about 300 of these bumper stickers, and I'm going to put them on every car that I ever get in front of. It says, I'm a student driver, please be patient. I mean, everybody's like, come on,
Someone
man.
wanted to put that on my dad's car.
That's funny.
I'm thinking, just get that and come on. God.
You know, we're living in, 2025. I'm pretty sure in Back to the Future, they were already having flying cars. Marty McFly must have went back and messed something up because we're still driving on wheels. Otherwise, we could have been here a lot faster and sooner. And I'm still waiting on my hoverboard, a real hoverboard.
A real hoverboard. Yeah.
But at least Nike got the automatic lace-up shoes. At least there's one thing that came true.
Yeah.
But on tonight's show, I have a little bit of notes that I was going to speak about. And, we're going to be tackling something every single one of us wrestles with, and that's fear. Fear of the unknown. I should actually be really descriptive about that. Fear of failure. Fear of losing control. But in Isaiah 41:10, God doesn't just say, don't be afraid. He says, why? Because he is with us. So I really wanted to dive deep into this topic today because I think it's something that a lot of people can relate about, is fear of the unknown. Like, what am I to do, and how do I have that trust in God with that and that walk? Mm-hmm. So I would say that first off is that don't ever think that you're alone in this battle, because I think that would be strike one right off the bat, is that if you immediately have that reaction of I'm doing this alone, then you're already not starting this off right.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have that faith, and you have to know that he is with you during this battle, this challenge. And to put trust in it, and then you can watch your faith rise along that battle. Mm-hmm. But how else would you say that you would go more in depth about that?
I think we had the example that we were using, because this kind of goes along with Wednesday night a little bit. We were talking about back in the old days when you were driving. If you wanted to map out where you were going, mm-hmm. You pulled out a paper map, right? That could never get folded back the same way again. But you ever seen them?
I've used them, and I've also used MapQuest when you have to print them all out.
Oh gosh,
and it's like a book.
Yeah, and you get this thing, and then you map where you're. Here we are, and then you map what you're going to do all the way to the end. So on that paper map, if you're going on a vacation or something, you map the whole thing, right? So you know where you're going. Okay, I'm going to get on this road, get on that road. Everything's mapped out for you. But when it comes to our phones, you put in
your address.
You put in the address, and then you just listen for it to tell you the next thing to do. Too many people want to work off the old paper map and go, I'm going to know the end. And God goes, I ain't telling you the end. I'm telling you to go here, which is what GPS does.
Uh-huh.
Go here, then go there, then go here. And that's the part, I think, where our fear is where's God taking us? And it's the strange part about it is we all know.
Yeah.
He's taking us home.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
We're going to our heavenly home. And this world isn't that home. So sometimes we become afraid of what's God doing to me? Like God's gonna, is out to just get you,
Right.
And not. He's taken me to a place. I mean, we say I want to know, but when do we ever know?
Yeah.
I mean, I might plan to go to a certain place, or I might plan to do something with my life, but God's the one that's purposing it. I don't know for sure in any way, shape, or form. So,
And that's true. And the GPS way to relate is so accurate, because not only should we be following those step by step, but what's funny is the fact that even with GPS, we have people that don't follow the GPS. So it really does relate, because there'll be moments where God's telling you need to take a right here, and then you miss that right turn, and then okay, well, take a right here, and you miss that right turn, and so on and so on. So yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Like he could, if you listen and pay attention, you can follow that direction to where you need to be going, or you're gonna be missing a couple turns, and your path takes a lot longer to get there.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We were going down to Houston to see Ben. And we get everything is just clipping us right along, and then it tells me I get on 290 and I'm supposed to go, down, getting close to Houston, and then it tells me to get off, and I go, that ain't right. This thing's messing up.
Yes,
right.
I've done that before,
and it was not messing up because I got in this big traffic jam, and it's like he was turning me on. I say he, it was a she that talks, but I was supposed to turn, and he was going to take me a back way to get there, and I'd have been there on time, but all of a sudden, you watch the little thing, and it tells you, you're 30 minutes from your destination.
Yes.
And then I stayed on that road, and it says you're now 48 minutes from your destination.
Yes.
It's like, I just made my trip longer, right?
Right. Which is funny, because when I see that time in the bottom, I'm like, challenge accepted. I bet I can make it less than 30 minutes.
I do the same thing.
But
it says I'll get there by 12:30 p.m. I bet I can get 12:15.
I bet I can knock off 15 minutes right here. But what's funny is that it's similar thing happened to me on the way to Houston when I went to a work conference. Mm-hmm. And I on the same thing on 290 going all the way down, and then all of a sudden it's asking me to turn, and I wonder if it's the same area. And I'm like, no, I know that if I go here I'm gonna make it just fine. So I took my exit, but mine wasn't like a 20-minute delay. I was there around 6 p.m. in Houston. So that 20 minute turned to an hour jump, and as I was looking at my GPS, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
What did I do? Yeah. I was almost tempted to jump off, go all the way back to where I was,
like
and then follow it. Right?
You think, here's what you think. So if I get off now, will you forgive me and get me in the right place?
yes. And it's funny, because that is exactly how relatable it is to us right now, is the fact that God could tell us exactly, like, you gotta, you need to go this way. Don't miss this turn, and you skip it, and then you're stuck in traffic in a life situation, and it's taking you longer to the route that He's wanting you to take. And then, like what we were just joking around, like, maybe if I do this, God, maybe you can shave off 20 minutes, or guide me a little bit quicker there, Lord. I'm so sorry. Like, you started asking for the forgiveness out of it, and it's so funny, because how much the GPS stuff can actually relate to our critical path and our walk with God.
Yeah. And we go off. See, when we go the direction He tells us to go, and it just works the way we, then we get a little bit arrogant about, no, wait a second. Now it never pays off. It just trust. It doesn't always tell me to pop. It doesn't always say, there's a delay. Sometimes it will. Hey, recalculating to avoid traffic. Okay, I know what's going on, but doesn't always do that.
Right. Exactly.
And I just see it. But when I see it just saying recalculate, that means I missed a turn.
I think the worst part of and the fear of that is that when it's recalculating and you're in an area that doesn't have good service, and you're now in like a freak out panic mode, like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? It's still spinning, and I missed my turn. I don't know what to do at this point, because you decided to disobey the GPS, which is the same as if you disobey God.
That's
like,
right.
You're buffering for a while there, buddy.
Yeah, but the thing we don't see, and this is a benefit, right? Mm-hmm. We do it the way God says, and we don't see the delay, right? And we go, well, okay, and it just, all right, I just did it and got there. Okay, we got there. but because we don't, God didn't say, okay, took you this way because over here was bad. No, he did it with the children of Israel. When they came out of Egypt, God sent them the long way because he said, because the Philistines were in a war, and he says he didn't want to discourage them. Well, he told them what they were doing.
Right.
But he doesn't always tell us what to do. He's just like, trust me.
Right.
Just go the way I'm telling you.
And I have a note right here that I was about to bring up, but you kind of pretty much brought it up, is fear focuses on what could go wrong, but is the faith that focuses on who is still in control in that scenario.
Right.
And just that was a prime
I think you got
example.
1 Timothy 1:7. Is that God has not given us a spirit of fear? I'm sorry?
Second.
2 Timothy, okay.
Mm-hmm.
God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. So if we're dealing with fear, particularly, now understand, if we're disobeying God, that would be a good time to be afraid.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But if we're going where he's wanting us to go, I mean, Daniel, when Daniel was convicted of disobeying the king and he was thrown in the lion's den, you know how the animals can sense your fear and stuff, especially bees. But I wonder how he walked in there. He wasn't drug in.
Right, like the
he
composure he had.
I'm good. He goes in there, and there's some pictures out there. Some of them pretty cool, where it shows him looking up a window because he's locked in, but he's looking up at a window, and all the lions are behind him, and they can't do anything.
You know
they
how
just
I've always
cannot do anything. Right?
You know how I've always pictured it?
Him sleeping with him.
Well, besides
overnight.
that, I think of it, and it sounds corny, but every time we ever study that segment, I think of those YouTube videos where like the owner of those lions have been gone for so long, and whenever they come back,
and
the lions are so excited to see them, and they're like embraced and hugging. Like I just picture Daniel comes like, "Who missed me?" And then the lions are coming, and he's just loving on them, and the guards are like, "What are you doing
This
here?
ain't working."
This is." Did he own these or?
But that's how God. Sometimes you go. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
In the fire.
We're going in the fire. We'll go in the fire, but we're not gonna bow down. That's when we get. Of course, we don't have confrontations like that. You either work this weekend, or you miss church, or you do this, or you're not going to get a promotion. You're going to do this, and you go, okay, what am I going to do? And you go, then no promotion.
Right.
Because I'm done. But why? Because this GPS, I know where I'm supposed to go and where I'm supposed to be, and I'm trying to play this off. And that's just an easy example. I mean, there's other examples. God wants you to forgive somebody, and you don't want to forgive them, and but you do it. Why is it so important that God wants me to forgive them? And then you find out, what I was mad at them about, they never did. Right. That's bad. Or they popped off at me about something, or did something to me because they had been hurt about, someone hurt them bad.
Yeah.
And then you find out what happened to them is nothing of what they did to me. They need to learn to forgive. The only way they're going to learn that is if I forgive them. There's a whole bunch of scenarios like that, right?
Yeah.
God wants me to go do this. Well, am I going to do that? Because I'm, and not realizing that God wants you in that place to see that person that's going to influence the next path that you take, right?
Right.
Opportunities missed because we're in the wrong places, right?
Right. Which I did a little bit of digging, and you can tell me if I'm correct on this little investigation that I did, but what I found more interesting was the fact that do not fear appears 300 times in the scripture.
And fear not.
And fear not.
Fear not.
And
neither be dismayed.
Right. But it's not the denial, it's direction. Right, that's how it's implying. It's giving you the direction of do not fear.
He told Moses, and he told Joshua that particularly. Said it a few times, and then you see it. Fear not, neither be dismayed. That he told him, what are you getting ready to do? Well, Joshua is a military leader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to go in and fight these guys. He goes, here's how you're going to do it: walk around Jericho 6 times, right? Once a day for 6 days. 7th day, do it 7. That is not in his playbook. I promise you that was not part of.
I wonder if that's where they got the concept of
the-
NASCAR.
the
Take
art-
a left
oh,
here.
gosh,
Take
yeah.
a left here. Take a left here. Take
I
a
don't
left
know.
here.
Are the Jews into the?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But just think
They
about
may
walking.
be.
You're walking around a city 6
Yeah.
laps. That's super huge. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of NASCAR all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, oh, just
You'll never find that strategy in The Art of War by Sun Tzu, right? You'll never gonna see him go, just march, just march, just march.
Just keep going.
But why would he say that? Well, it's not just that it's not practical for a military leader to do that, to suggest that, but he's got to convince 600,000 men to do that.
Right.
So that's a powerful. We're going to do this.
Right.
And that's an incredible statement. And I say I like it. I don't like it. He says, "Fear not," and he says, "Don't be dismayed." Well, what part is that? Those aren't disconnected from each other. They're connected. Because fear not, because you're going to be in a place that's fearful. Don't get so distraught that you don't think there's a way out, that God doesn't have a way out.
Are you looking at my screen? Because that was the next note I was going to bring up.
No, I can't.
Okay, well, since you brought up what I was going to say, I'm going to go to my next note.
Maybe you got that.
Right. I broke it down a little bit different because I've been working on kind of like a nice little structure with our conversation, and I have 10 points that I want to bring up later that I want to us to all three of us both. You're included.
She hasn't spoken yet.
I know that I want to present each of these points, and I want to get y'all's opinions on these. Sorry. And but before we get to that point, is that when you were talking about that, is that God does not promise an easy road for us.
No.
He promises His presence through that road with us. And I think that's something that all you viewers and everybody out there that's watching this, that you got to realize, like what we were joking and saying earlier, is that you got to have, if you start fear without Him, then you're already off in the wrong step.
Right. Yeah, I think there's three things. Too often we pray for a way out.
Yeah.
Get me out. Well, that
Please,
could happen.
please don't put me in this scenario again or something like that.
There's three of them: way out, a way through, and a way to bear. Because sometimes you ain't getting out of it.
Right.
Right. You're just gonna have help me bear this. This thing. So there's those three things. But normally people go, get me out of this. Get me out of this. Right. And God goes, this is the bad part, when God goes, well, I didn't get you into it. You got you into it. Right. But I'll get you out. So, but that's the three things. And sometimes it's about, you're going to have to, we get older and you're going to have to put the glasses on. You get older and you're going to have to start writing things down and then remember where you wrote it, right? And those things are going to come up. Lord, help me get out of this. Help me get, this is the way it's going to work, Some of the decisions we make in our lives gets us to, this is what I'm going to have to deal with. A person that has an addiction, and I mean, once you're addicted, you're done. You're addicted.
Right.
Now you can work your way out of it, and you can live away from that, but that addiction is still there.
Right.
So Lord help. There's a few people that says, I don't even care about that anymore. People smoking cigarettes and other things would say, you know what? And I stopped cold turkey, and God just took care of it. Well, He will do that, but not always.
Right.
By and large, the people will talk about that, they deal with it, and they deal with it, and they deal with it. So,
and it's a constant struggle for them too.
But that's where you go, God, get me out. And God goes, I didn't get you in. I can get you out, but you realize you got that monkey on your back now, right? So
you need to tell Abu to jump off.
Yeah. So
you know who Abu is.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. All right. So I want to dive into these 10 points and then get y'all's feedback on it. So point number 1 is, fear is human, but faith is divine. So how I have this is that everyone feels fear. It's part of being human, but faith is an invitation to rise above what we feel and lean into what we know, that God is present. Fear looks at the mountain. Faith looks at the one who can move it. What's y'all's opinion about that?
As long as you got your faith in the right thing, that's right. I agree with that. You put your faith in the wrong thing, and your faith ain't going to do nothing. Right.
You won't move that mountain.
You won't move that mountain. So yeah, it's understanding who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Who is the one that's really in charge? And once we can figure that out, then a lot of these things get a lot easier. Not easy, but easier. to
Right.
do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I pretty much agree. I mean, it's pretty like obvious. You know what I mean? Like faith or fear. It's I would assume that it's pretty obvious, but most people don't have that faith. And I really, me personally, I feel like I don't understand how people can't have the faith, because you're gonna have fear. Like that's a normal thing. And I don't understand how people can't have that faith and still go through that fear.
Okay.
They said someone said something about bravery,
Mm-hmm.
about a brave person. He says it's not that they're not afraid, but they don't let the fear keep them from moving.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's faith would be the same way. Might I be fearful about something? Yes, I might be fearful, but the fear can't keep me from moving.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
Okay. All right. Point number 2 I have is do not fear isn't a suggestion. It's a command rooted in the relationship.
Yep.
And God isn't saying pretend you're not scared. He's saying remember who's standing next to you.
Mm-hmm.
His presence is the antidote to your panic. The more aware you are of his presence, the less space fear has to live. I'm starting with you this time.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I agree with it.
Okay.
Well,
I
okay.
agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really see what.
You're good.
I don't really see what else there is to add on to that. I mean, I feel like it's just kind of case in point, you
Mhm.
know. Step 4 is kind of like obvious.
No, yeah.
Can you read the last part of that again?
Yeah. So, you want it from his presence as the antidote part, or the last sentence?
Yeah, last part of it.
The more aware you are of his presence, the less space fear has to live.
That is the key right there. People aren't aware of his presence,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not interacting with him as he is in their presence. We don't act like he's there.
Right.
I say people in fear would go, I'm all by myself. No, you're not. Right. Now it's like, okay, God, what are we going to do now? What do you want me to do next? What do you want me to do next?
And as you can see, I'm kind of stacking
Yeah.
more and more onto each description
Yeah.
as we're going on to see what y'all think about that.
Yeah. And sometimes I think the only time people see victory in their faith is when something miraculous happens and people get saved, or you win the argument. But that's not always the case. You can lose the argument and still stand strong in your faith, and you will have won, even though I'm afraid I'm going to get in a debate and I'm not going to be able to answer their question. You might not.
Right.
But you're going to learn from it and grow. Maybe God's putting you in that so that you
Exactly.
are going, okay, I need to get a book.
Yeah.
Right. And if that's not easy to understand or anything, I would say it's pretty similar to like a real life scenario. Like if you have a pitcher who's trying to learn a new style of pitching, like he might get that ball smacked the first 5 or 6 times, and he might get pulled down. He might not like that pitch, but the more he works at that and more he applies that, he's going to modify and get that better.
Yeah.
Just like how we need to learn and modify. Like if we're struggling in some part, that's God telling us that, hey, you're doing good over here. You can definitely debate with this, but I put you in this scenario because you're struggling here, and I wanted you to finally see where you're struggling.
Fullness and wholeness is what he's trying to get us to.
Right.
Not specialists, but generalists.
Right.
The old jack of all trades and master of none. That's what he's really looking for in us, because we're going to meet a whole bunch of different people.
Exactly.
Paul said that I'm all things to all men, that I might by all means win some. I gotta know current events. I gotta know the sports. I gotta know who won at the Olympics, in Greece just a few years ago.
Right.
Because people are going to talk about that, right?
Exactly. So here's the next block that I have, and that's fear focuses on what we can't control. Faith focuses on who controls it all. So by fear magnifies the unknown, faith magnifies the unshakable. When you start spiraling, the best question to ask is, am I staring at the storm or the Savior?
Yep. That's good. That's good.
Thank you. I did a lot of studying on this.
Yep.
Ooh, I got a thumbs up from Miss Kite.
You did good.
Good. I got a
She's
good one
texting
on
her
that one.
boyfriend.
Right.
That's what you
No, I'm not. Checking the
If you're
comments.
texting him, just tell him to go ahead and hop on the live stream. At least IM you on
Smash
here.
that subscribe button.
Yeah,
while
hit
you're
that
at it.
button and everything. And the more
I
he
don't
puts in the
know,
chat
buddy.
room, the more it helps the algorithm. So go ahead and just tell him to say "love you, schmookums" or whatever
Are
on
we
there.
getting any questions or anything? Okay.
I keep checking it,
Okay.
but
All right, so this next part, I have it kind of broken down a little bit. So the promise is Isaiah 41:10, and I have it where it's broken down to 3 layers. And this is actually one I was wanting to. I try to do it myself, and now I want to see if you concur how I have this broken out.
Okay.
So for Isaiah 41:10, I said there's 3 layers to it. The first one is your presence, and that is I am with you, which is implying like you're never alone in the dark. So I kind of put like a reflective thing in the like how to relate towards it. Then from presence, I go to power, which is I will strengthen you, which means that you won't run out of strength because he keeps refilling you. And then the last one is your protection, and that is I will uphold you. When you feel like you're failing, his hands hold you steady.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you, is there anything else that you would add on to that, or if I missed anything there?
No, that's one of them. I'm looking at it. I looked at it before, and it's specifically in reference to the children of Israel, but it would apply to us. And that's where you go. You fear not and don't be dismayed. Right. That's where those two are together. And Israel was in bondage, or they were going into bondage, and they were, what am I going to do? God has forsaken me. He said, God's not, I haven't forsaken you. We may put ourselves in the position of God's chastisement, but that doesn't mean God's left us. Remember,
Right.
the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, but God fed them, watered them, and took care of them in the midst of that. So I think what he's trying to get across to the children of Israel now is bad things are going to happen. Just because they're happening, don't think I'm not with you, right?
Right.
In this whole thing.
And that's kind of why I broke it down like into those 3 areas.
Mm-hmm.
So that way the viewers and people in general can just kind of see like the stepping stones towards it. Not that, like, we can give you the answer for it, but if you get the answer, how are you going to understand what's all put together in the verse
Right.
to get to that answer?
Think going back to the 3 things that we said that, get me out, get me through, or help me bear it. And that, if we only focus on get me out, then we're going to think God's always failing us. If he's going, I'm going to get you through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get you through this, because you're not going to grow if I get you out. You're going to grow if I get you through.
Right.
Right. And so we have to look at all 3 of those things in that process. Don't be afraid. Don't be dismayed. Just keep on doing what you're supposed to do. Keep on doing what you know I've commanded you to do.
Right. Do you concur?
Sim, Alabama.
Yeah. For step 5, what I have next is I say, fear often shows up when faith is about to grow. So every great story of faith, you have Abraham, Moses, David, Esther, Peter, starts with a moment of fear. The presence of fear doesn't mean that it's the absence of faith, but it's the doorway where faith has been proven.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like I chose the right characters when it came to their story of faith and how fear was present to them?
Yeah, I'm not sure about Abraham, because when God told Abraham to go sacrifice his son,
you wouldn't think there was no fear whatsoever.
he never told us that there was fear.
Mm.
And the reason why he never told us there was fear in that is because when we get to Hebrews and read about what he did, Abraham had concluded. He had concluded. God's promise. This is a great on faith. God promised me this. This is the promised son. God says, kill him, drown him, burn him, do whatever. God's promise is not going to fail. In Hebrews, it tells us, he was fully assured he was going to take him, he was going to kill him, he was going to drain him of his blood, and he was going to burn him to a crisp on that, and God was going to raise him up. He knew that. He was absolutely confident. I don't think he told Sarah.
Maybe that's where I was thinking the fear would have came from.
Yeah,
was-
he might have been afraid of her. You go, we got to get out of here if your mom finds out. Right? But you see, he takes the 2 young men with him.
Yeah.
Many commentators believe that he took the young men in case Isaac goes, I don't want to do this. Right? But when he gets to the place, he tells the 2 men, you can stay here, watch the animals, and we will be back. When you listen to his words and listen what's said, absolute confidence in that. Was Moses afraid? I think Moses, there were cases where he was afraid. It didn't keep him from going.
No, absolutely not.
And
I felt like the same with Esther.
Esther actually told Mordecai, she goes, if I go in and the king doesn't raise a scepter, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, if you don't go in and do something, we're all dead.
Yeah.
You know, kind of paraphrasing at that, but he said this. He said, if you won't do this now, there will be someone that comes up to take care of this, but you'll be dead. And then he says this: how do you know that you weren't put here for such a time as this? Right. She did it. She boldly did it. So. And initially, I mean, a new believer in Christ, you start saying, here's those shoestring things. Can you do those things? And will you do those things? Will you be faithful to do those things? And they start to do that, and they go, I don't know, I can do this. And then after a while, the blessings are just so natural. It's like manna on the ground. You just expect it to be there, and you don't even think.
Right.
It's because I'm being obedient, right?
Right. And so then it makes sense, because when I was studying a little bit on Abraham, I think
Peter
I might have.
afraid.
Peter was afraid. I think what was going through my head then with Abraham is that I maybe was relating it too much to how I would personally feel with my kids, because I would probably have that genuine fears, like you're about to tell me that I'm about to. My daughter, that does raise a little fear, and like I trust you and everything that like Abraham did, but I guess that's where I was trying to like. I should have pulled my feelings and everything away versus how Abraham had that just that straight mentality of like, no, I know this is gonna happen.
Well, I think this is one of those good faith testing grounds where you go, I would have really.
Which I'm saying, don't try this at home. This is not something. That's already been done. It's done.
Don't do that one. But when you say, I don't know if I could do that, okay, so now you sit and ask yourself the question, what does God have to show me in my life that would make me so confident in him that I wouldn't have a problem doing it? Right? Mm-hmm. And he's not asking us, I take that back. He does ask us to sacrifice our kids to him.
To him, though, yes.
They are his, and he entrusts us to raise them the way he wants them raised. Right.
Right.
All the children of the world.
Yeah. Make sure I update my notes and take Abraham out, because this is good notes that I feel like I've taken on this to go back and study more on in the future and add on. Point 6 I have is courage isn't the absence of fear, it's it's obedience in spite of it.
Right.
So God never said you'll stop being afraid. He said, I'll be with you. True courage is choosing to trust while your knees still shake. Mm-hmm. I should have chose some better words, because apparently that was like a tongue twister for me. I couldn't spit out my own sentence.
It's true.
Right.
I'm sure she agrees.
Do you agree?
Thumbs up.
Yay.
Earlier I just said that because I forgot what you had asked me. So I was like, yeah, I agree.
You don't have to confess all that. You know?
Right, yeah. You're good. Don't worry.
So I can stop asking me if I agree.
But here's something that you can answer. So, ready?
Uh-huh.
So for point 7 had God's track record, it's undefeated.
Right.
When fear says, what if it doesn't work, which we can all absolutely say, we have said that at one point of our lives or multiple times. Faith says, what if it does? If you look back, he's never failed you before, and he's not going to start doing it now. Mm-hmm. So what do you think?
I think that statement is very true, especially for myself, especially that
You giggling again?
I'm messing with her while she's talking.
Oh, that's why.
That's why I gave.
Oh man.
I'm gonna clip this and turn this
Also
into a
thought.
reel.
Okay.
This is a good one. That was the dog.
Yeah.
That guy gave me a minute to think because I lost my thought.
Then I'm gonna shift it over here.
Yeah, I'll get back to y'all.
I forgot. I was.
So I said when fear says, "What if it doesn't work?"
Yes.
Faith says, "What if it does?"
Yeah.
And you look back, he's never failed you before, and he's not going to start tonight.
The hardest thing for us to do is to recognize God's actually even working. If you can recognize that God's working, then you add that to his account.
Right. So you
Right.
know what made me think of this?
Yeah.
The seventh point. What story? Job. I don't know why, but to me, I feel like Job just kind of embraces this part of it, where just the trust and the promises that he's making, that even though everything that he's been through, he's not leaving your side.
Right.
Like, he's not going to fail you at this point. We've already done all the damage that's going to happen, and he's still with you.
Yeah.
And he's going to still be with you whenever you're rewarded at the end of it.
He's
I don't know
still
why
working.
that story sticks to me on that one. With the undefeated.
His future and his inheritance was not in this world. Because he goes, though I can't see you, I know you're there. He tells us this, right?
Mhm.
He goes, I know that you have a desire to the work of your hands. You want me, right? Well, everything may be messing up, and you know this. He never knows this side of heaven why any of that happened.
Right.
Never knows.
Mhm.
Goes forward with it, and he's trusting, and maybe a little bit to the point of being a little obnoxious about it, because God does get on to him.
Right.
But you see him. He did not. This is I think is pretty smart on his part. He didn't discard everything he knew about God because he was going through this problem.
Right.
He goes, well, wait a second, I'm keeping those. That's what I put my faith and trust in. I can't go, well, God must not like me. God must not care.
Oh my
God must not-
goodness,
right?
that is such a
Choo,
common
choo,
thing to
choo, right?
immediately throw out there
He
when
never
something goes
threw that.
wrong.
He never let go of the things that he knew about God.
Mm-hmm.
People that will, I used to believe in God, and then a tragedy hit, child, husband, wife, whatever, and if I thought, if God's going to do that to me, then I just don't believe it anymore. And like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, I feel like I would be more
Why would you
scared at
drop?
that. Right.
Why would you drop those things? And the only thing I can think of is what you're dropping those things because you never recognize God working to go, that's on God's account. I trust him here and I trust him there, and he did this and he did that, and so these things build up. It did it with Elijah. Go do this. Go to the brook Cherith. Go to the woman of Zarephath. Now go call down fire from heaven. Right? It wasn't go call down fire from heaven. Let's build on this faith. So he didn't drop it. He kept those things.
Right.
Right. It's kind of there's these what do they call the games where you're like Zelda used to be this way.
Role-playing game.
Role-playing
RPG.
game. And
Good
that's
call
it.
out, Zelda. That's a good game.
That's an old one, right?
Yeah.
And as you go along, you pick up stuff to put in the bag or whatever. And when you come up to a problem, you don't drop the bag.
No.
You get in the bag.
You get in the bag and you have to figure out what tools you have are going to continue on your path in that game.
Using that kind of an analogy, that's what we need to do. When God's come up, he says, wait a second, God did it before, he'll do it again.
Exactly. Think like you're Batman. You have everything on your utility belt.
It doesn't do you good if you don't use it.
Exactly.
What was that we were watching? We were watching that Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
number 3. It just drives me nuts. That one does. But all the time, the Star-Lord always puts the thing on and it goes out in space. And then the very last scene
when
of
he's
that
in
thing,
space, he doesn't have
put
it.
the thing on. It's like,
Right.
what is he?
That
Not
should
using
be
his
in.
tool.
You should be in your ear the whole time, ready to rock. I would never take that thing off.
I wouldn't. Anyway, but that's an example of that too for all of you Marvel fans.
Exactly.
Use your tools.
Use your tools. So point 8 I have is replace your fear with focus. This is where I kind of start making a little bit of a transition to where I wanted the viewers and followers to start getting a little bit more relation towards how to apply it. So you tell me if this sounds right. So when your mind starts racing, start redirecting it. Fear says, I can't, but faith says, God can. Fear says, what if I fail? Faith says, oh no, what if I fall? Faith says, he'll catch me. And then fear says that I'm weak, but I have it as where faith says he will strengthen me. I feel like there probably some more I could add on to it, but I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah. When you can't see what he's doing, trust and do what you know he's told you to do. Don't. It goes back to the bag, right?
Yeah.
Pull the, and that's, we do the God-sized things, and the reason why that's so important, not just for other people to hear, but the individual to hear that, because it makes you think.
Yes.
What has God done for me? So you can add to his ledger, right?
Right.
And how is he changing me? And how is he doing this thing? Look how he's gotten me where I'm at so far. Can I trust him that he's going to go, keep going? Yeah. He's got a plan. So
right. For point 9, I have waiting in fear feels like being stuck, but waiting in faith means being shaped. Sometimes God slows the pace, not to punish you, but to prepare you. He's never late. He's aligning the timing with your maturity.
yeah, he's always having to get us ready, right?
Right. Like when you're
us
getting your
prepared.
kids ready at school and everything, and you're trying to tell them to hurry up, but they're taking forever. That we're the kids in the scenario for God,
Yeah.
trying to get ready for something that He's
Trying
trying
to
to help us along the way
Let me
for.
do what he's wanting me to do.
Right.
Let me get ready, and building on that. One of the coaches will do this. They don't give you the end result of what they want, because they have to break it down into small little pieces. Okay, learn to do this, and then learn to do this, and then learn to do this, and then let's put it all together, and then you fall down. Right?
Yeah.
But you have to get this figured out to do the next thing, to do the next thing, to do the next thing.
Right.
And God will do that to us too. God, he does do it to us, right? He's always conforming us to the image of his son.
Right. And then my last point is kind of just an open note here and an open floor for both of y'all is your daily battle plan. And I have it where the best thing to do, honestly, is to pray first and don't wait until the fear grows its roots. Because you know how we always talk about the best thing is to plant a seed so those roots can be grown and sprout. I feel like fear itself is like another type of seed that if it's planted into you, those roots can spread into your whole body, and it can make a huge detriment towards yourself.
Yep. The rule of thumb I try to live by is I don't want to be afraid, so I don't do something. I would rather be afraid of having not done anything.
Right.
Right. So doing something and failing, I'm okay with, because I do that frequently. What I don't want to do is not do something because I'm afraid.
Right.
I would rather fail falling towards him, because he'll pick me back up, right? Rather than look back and go, I didn't do anything.
Right.
Right. I'd rather be doing too much.
Do you concur?
Yeah.
2 thumbs up. Oh.
So I have now some questions I actually been wanting to ask you on this topic, and one of them actually was brought to me, and it's kind of what made me want to do this topic was, where was fear? Where fear's origin? Where did it come from?
Well, God doesn't give you the spirit of fear. Where would it come from? It comes from self or from Satan, right?
Okay.
Because at some point God's trying to get us to let go of our little g gods.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to get and he's trying to get us to see him in a greater way.
Right.
Right? Because when you really understand his presence there and understand he's there, the conversation continues. And okay, God, what do you want me to do? I mean, I've done that several times when I hear someone they're getting ready to tell me something out on the visitation trail, and I'm like, okay, I kind of remember this, Lord. I need you to help me remember because I can't remember stuff. And then it does it, you know. But
Right.
I'm acknowledging an awareness that He is there, right? We serve the God who is there,
Right.
right?
The next question I have for you is faith versus feelings. Is it easy to get one mixed up with the other, or do they go coincide by each other in the meaning?
Well, fear is a feeling, so that's what will mess you up, right? Well, I just don't really feel it. What did God tell you to do? Remember God asking you, if you feel like it, keep my commandments.
Yeah.
That's not in there, right? He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. And sometimes it's going to be some precarious positions that He puts us in to keep that.
Right.
And we're going to have to decide, is He faithful? Is He faithful? And I think when we were looking at Hebrews 11, where we by faith Enoch, by faith Noah, by faith Abraham, it's by faith, and you go, because of their faith. Where was all of their faith was placed in God, what He said, what He told them to do, and they did it. I mean, Gideon's mentioned in Hebrews 11, and Gideon is the best read for the chicken-hearted. The whole story is about fear.
Yes.
He's afraid. He's always afraid. I always use him as an example.
He reminds me of like Chicken
Don
Little, that the
Knotts.
sky is falling.
Don Knotts with the Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm going to get beat up when I get to heaven. There's several of them that's going to do it to me. Gideon's probably one of them. But that's what you get through the whole. It's all about fear. But what Gideon was able to do, because I'm trying to get some credit back here, is that it didn't stop him.
Right.
He kept moving forward. He was afraid, but he kept moving forward. Yeah.
Right. All right. So that kind of wraps up everything that I have. Now I have like a little activity for both of y'all, and I call it Fear Factor Faith Edition.
Doing that thing.
Oh, this?
Oh, I'm not eating a bug.
No.
Okay.
So this is Faith Edition. So I have 3 questions for each of y'all. Okay, I want you to think really in depth about it and how you're going to answer it. So the first question I'm going to ask is, what's one area you've been afraid to step into lately? Who wants to go first? Remember, long pause in the video doesn't look good for us.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Trying to think.
Something that I'm afraid to do here lately.
Eat vegetables?
Well,
Part of that every
I'm not
day.
afraid of that. I'm not doing it. I drink my vegetables.
It's so much
The
easier.
protein, yeah, the protein plant. Probably fear to wake up with on occasion, or I'll wake up with is as we're getting older and start getting medical issues. Okay, what's this going to do to me? And you see some of these commercials on TV, and it's like Alzheimer's and things like that. There's a fear of, man, I don't have much. Please don't let me lose what I know already. But those things kind of hang over, like, so that. But I think that's what drives me to read the next book, to mark up the next Bible, to just keep on going, to get that stuff planted, so that hopefully it doesn't happen, and it's beneficial in the meantime. But
right.
That's, I play early in the morning when I get up. I play a couple different mind games, not with Laura, little exercise mind games, just because I read you got to keep changing the synapse. You got to do different things to get those.
Firing and stuff.
That's what I kind of think about.
For me, it's finishing with high school. I'm afraid to finish with high school. I'm very close to finishing with high school. I'm almost done with my 10th grade year. I have like 3 more months and I'm complete.
Me too.
More like 2. But, so I'm almost done with my 10th grade year. Pretty soon I'm going to be done with high school altogether. And That's one thing that I've been afraid of is, so I know that I want to do something once I get out of high school. Doesn't everyone? And so once I get out of high school, my thing is though, high school's so detail oriented. You know what you're doing every day. You have classes picked out, you're set, you're in a schedule. But once I get out of high school, that's what I'm afraid of. I don't know where I'm going to go from there. And lately it's been figuring out where I'm going to go from there and what I'm going to do from there.
Okay.
So I've been like looking around and stuff, and for a long time, for like ever, I've always been like, I don't want to look into it because I'm not ready to be done. I don't want to be done yet. So now I'm kind of just getting in the point where I'm embracing it, and I'm like, I'm gonna finish. So I'm just more of like embracing it now. I'm like, okay, need to just embrace it and be like, can't think of the word, but I'm stuck on the word, but I'm just embracing it now to be like, get more used to it because I am afraid to finish high school because
Okay.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Kind of, but now that I've been embracing it instead of letting that fear hold me back and be like, no, I'm not going to look into it. I'll figure it out once I finish high school.
Mm-hmm.
Don't plan on doing that.
Right.
It's eased it a lot with the fear of like finishing with high school.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you're worried about what's going to happen in the next
Mhm.
2 years. I'm trying to figure out what to do in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
See, it's
Ours are a bit different. Well,
Yeah.
I have 1 year left.
So here's the next question. If you had zero fear, what would you do this week?
if I had zero fear, I still wouldn't jump out of an airplane.
Same.
It just doesn't seem reasonable to do.
It doesn't seem reasonable at all.
I would, if I said I'd go to the mission field, I couldn't because I can't speak English, let alone speak another language. I might go out and be a street preacher, go out maybe in Dallas, and if I don't get shot,
Oak
you know,
Cliff.
do it like one of those guys do. You know, I've seen those street preachers. You remember when we went to that?
Yes, I remember.
And they were out. He was out there, and he was
That is
quoting
something I
scripture,
forever will remember.
quoting this, quoting. He was
Quoting?
quoting scripture out of the Bible, saying you don't need to be reading this Bible.
No.
It's like, does this make sense to anybody?
Everyone was like, yeah.
But yeah, maybe do something like that.
Okay.
I always thought too, you know, but I can't do it. But get on a bike or get in a car and just drive west, you know, at least to Tucson, you know, and just make a loop around. Go to our missionaries, see our missionaries, do something like that.
Cool. Okay. What about you?
Get out of high school.
That's
I
exactly what I was
drop
about
out
to
today.
say.
No.
Checking Mama's face, and Mama's still happy.
Remember, 30-second lag.
Oh, okay.
No, my mom knows that's not true. To be honest, I don't know. I don't necessarily know what I would do because, I mean, as we had already determined, I'm not going to be out of high school for at least a year. You know, my prediction date is sometime in 2026. So I'm not going to be finishing just yet. So, but if I were to finish early, I would just apply to, like, I would just go and apply to one college and just stick with that. I would, if I had no fear.
So if you had no fear, you would apply to a college?
I would apply to a college and go in for the major that I want to go in for.
Oh,
So which would be what?
Accounting.
That's right.
Yeah. If I had no.
Do you
fear,
math good?
I'm math fine.
Okay.
Not English
She's
though.
a mather.
A mather. Math who maths. All right, last question. Which Bible character showed the kind of courage you want right now?
Elijah.
Ruth.
Explain.
Elijah just went. God said go, and he went. God said go to the brook, and he went. God said go to the woman of Zarephath, and she'll feed you. Let me humiliate you a little bit, and he went. And God says, now I want you to go call down fire from heaven, and he went. He went, and he just kept going. I mean, he was an animal.
A machine.
Yeah, just an animal. You know, don't know what he ever preached. Don't other than when he was preaching on the altar when he called down fire from heaven. That's the only thing. I don't know what he preached, but man, alive, people were afraid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, probably Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
And you chose Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
What's your reason behind it?
I would say Ruth because like her husband died, and she had, for in my perspective, she had such a blind faith with everything that went. She went with her mother-in-law. Most people would not go with their mother-in-law. She's like, no, I'm not ever gonna leave you, and her mother-in-law was like, no, you leave. And because of that, it's just
Get away, kid, get away.
and then she's like, no, I'm gonna stay. And I feel like by her having that blind faith, knowing where she was supposed to be, knowing that she needed to be with her mother-in-law to take care of her mother-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
she did that, and that led her to being in the line of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I would choose Ruth, because Ruth had such a blind faith. She didn't know, like, she literally went and sat at Boaz's feet. What, like,
Right.
who would do that? That's such a weird thing to do. I don't understand why she would do that, but she did that, and because she did that, that led her to be in the line of Jesus. So I would say Ruth, because she had such a blind faith to just do it. She didn't question it. She just went and did what she was asked to do.
Right. Okay, I like that. Very good answer. And obviously you probably see why I chose this kind of activity and game. It's because I want also the viewers to also be able to relate. And I have a note right here for you viewers is that with this game and everything, I wanted to challenge you to actually write down your biggest fear and what you're going to do. Read Isaiah 41:10 and just remind yourself that God's presence is always going to be with you in this. And go through the game with us. Like, what is the biggest fear that you have? What is the one thing that you want to do if you had no fear? And then relate it to the Bible character that you know you want to relate towards, and apply all those to what fear you have. Mm-hmm. And that should help you kind of understand this whole topic and be immersed with what we went over and stuff. Because I figure that I kind of been wanting to do stuff like this at the end of it, so that way it gives you like a whole different perception of studying and acknowledging and understanding what we're trying to teach out of it. Because faith over fear isn't just a slogan. It's a decision that you make every morning. God doesn't eliminate the storms. He gives you the strength to walk through them. And the same hand that uphold the universe that upholds you. So that's my closing comments on this whole topic, if you have anything.
Nope. This is good.
This is great.
Good information.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all of y'all hanging out with us. Thank you so much for hanging out the whole hour. If y'all were here, thank you. If you're tuning in because you've found our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we want you to be part of the Reborn family. And you see the little icons and everything. We have our own social media platforms. Go make sure you follow those. Miss Kai handles all those. And we're live every Friday night. So tune in and enjoy hanging out with us. And if you missed out earlier's comment that we have Beyond the Break, if you're a sport enthusiast, that I wanted to provide some family fun activities that's outside of the norm. Tune into those and have fun and hang out because I'm going to have some awesome guests in the future that you're going to want to hear their backstories about. But always, here in the Holy Dome, 4 are in, 1 is out, and we are offline.
Cammy told me to wait.
Oh, well, it caught me.